The soundstage door slammed open. Gene Kelly burst through, breathing hard, scanning the empty MGM rehearsal hall. Props scattered everywhere. Lights still on. Music still playing on the record player. But no Judy. Where is she? Gene shouted to the assistant director. We don't know. She was here 20 minutes ago. And then, Gene was already running, down the corridor, past dressing rooms, past the costume department. His heart pounding because he had seen this before, 3 weeks ago, then again last week. He knew where she went when it got bad. The prop storage room, 3rd floor. No windows, no people. Gene took the stairs 2 at a time. He found the door, locked from inside. Judy. He pounded on it. Judy. Open the door. Silence. Then, so quiet he almost missed it. Go away. Her voice was wrong. Slurred. Distant. Gene's blood went cold. Judy. I need you to open this door right now. Can't. Why not? Too tired. Just let me sleep. Gene looked at the assistant director who had followed him. Get a key. Now, Mr. Kelly, if she is just resting. Get the goddamn key. The man ran. Gene pressed his ear against the door. He could hear Judy breathing. Shallow. Too slow. Judy, listen to me. How many pills did you take? No answer. Judy. Don't remember. She mumbled. Maybe? 5? 10? Doesn't matter. Nothing matters. Gene's hands were shaking now. Stay with me. Keep talking. The key is coming. Gene. Her voice was fading. I am sorry. I am so sorry I ruined everything. You didn't ruin anything. Tell them. Tell them I tried. Judy. No. Stay awake. Stay awake. The assistant director came running back with a ring of keys. His hands fumbled, trying each one. Faster. Gene growled. Click. The door swung open. Judy Garland was slumped against the wall, eyes half closed, an empty pill bottle on the floor beside her. Gene dropped to his knees, grabbed her shoulders. Judy, look at me. Her eyes rolled toward him, barely focusing. How many? Gene asked again. I just wanted to sleep. Just for a little while. Gene looked up at the assistant director. Call an ambulance, now. But Mr. Kelly, the studio, I don't care about the studio. The man ran. Gene pulled Judy into his arms, her head lolled against his shoulder. Stay with me, he whispered. Please, stay with me. So tired, I know. But you have to stay awake, just until the ambulance comes. Gene? Yeah. Why do you keep saving me? Her words were barely audible. I am not worth it. Gene's throat tightened. Because 8 years ago, you saved me. Remember? My first day at MGM, I was terrified, and you told me I was going to be a star. Did I? You did, and you were right. So now I am telling you, you are going to be okay. Liar. She smiled weakly. You are a terrible liar. Sirens wailed in the distance, getting closer. Judy's eyes started to close. No, no, no. Judy, stay awake. Can't. Yes, you can for me. Just 2 more minutes. Her breathing slowed. Judy. The paramedics burst through the door. They pulled Judy from Gene's arms, laid her flat, checked her pulse. Gene stood back, watching as they worked. One of the paramedics looked up at him. How long has she been unconscious? She is not unconscious. She was talking to me, just now. Sir, she is not responsive. Gene stared at Judy's pale face, her closed eyes, as the paramedics loaded her onto a stretcher. Is she going to make it? He asked. The paramedic didn't answer. They wheeled Judy Garland out of MGM Studios at 3:47 p.m. on November 18, 1949. The studio kept it quiet. No press, no announcement. Just another day in Hollywood, except Gene Kelly knew the truth. This wasn't the first time Judy Garland had almost died on an MGM soundstage, and it wouldn't be the last. But what nobody understood, what Gene was only beginning to realize, was that he wasn't saving Judy Garland anymore. He was watching her die in slow motion. And the movie they were making, Summer Stock, was going to be her last. 3 months earlier, August 1949, Gene Kelly stood in producer Joe Pasternak's office, shaking his head. It is a piece of crap, Gene said bluntly. It is for Judy, Pasternak said quietly. Gene stopped. Summer Stock. A simple let's put on a show musical. The kind of formulaic barn and Broadway story that felt dated before they even started. Jean had just finished On the Town. An innovative musical that pushed boundaries. Summer Stock was a step backward. She needs this, Jean. She needs a friend. She needs someone who will help her get through it. Jean thought about 1942. For Me and My Gal, his first film. He had been terrified. And Judy Garland, 20 years old and already a star, had taken time to help him, coached him on acting for camera, backed him in arguments with the director, told him he was going to be great. Fine, Jean said. I will do it. For Judy. The first week of shooting, Judy showed up late 3 days out of 5. When she did arrive, she looked exhausted. Her hands shook, her focus drifted. But she could still perform. When cameras rolled, the old Judy Garland emerged. She would hit her marks, deliver her lines, sing with that unmistakable voice. Then they would yell cut, and she would deflate. By week 3, she stopped showing up entirely. Producer Joe Pasternak went to studio head Louis B. Mayer. Should we shut down? Pasternak asked. Mayer's response was firm. Judy Garland has made this studio a fortune. The least we can do is give her one more chance. If you stop production now, it will finish her. So they kept shooting around Judy. Without Judy. The morning after they found Judy in the prop room, Jean arrived at the hospital. She was awake, groggy, but alive. They pumped my stomach, she said flatly. Charcoal. It was awful. Jean sat in the chair beside her bed. What were you thinking? I wasn't. That is the problem. Judy looked at him. I just wanted to sleep. I am so tired all the time, Jean. Even when I sleep, I am tired. The doctors say it is the pills. Your body is dependent on them. MGM gave me those pills when I was 15. To keep me awake. To make me thin. To make me everything they wanted me to be. Her voice broke. And now I can't function without them. Then we get you help. Real help. I was in a hospital for 3 months. Jean, it didn't work. Nothing works. Jean took her hand. We will figure it out. Together. Or, Judy said quietly. You could just let me go. Never. Judy returned to set 2 weeks later. Director Charles Walters pulled Jean aside. We need to talk about Judy. What about her? She can't do this. Jean, look at her. Jean looked. Judy was sitting in a chair, staring at nothing. Her costume hung loose on her frame, dark circles under her eyes. She is trying, Jean said. Trying isn't enough. Yesterday we spent 4 hours on one scene, and she couldn't remember her lines. The crew is getting frustrated. Then we work around it. For how long? Jean didn't have an answer. That afternoon, they attempted to film a simple dialogue scene. Judy forgot her lines 6 times. On the 7th take, she started crying and walked off set. Jean followed her to her dressing room. I can't do this, she sobbed. Everyone is looking at me like I am broken. You are not broken. Yes, I am. She gestured at herself. Look at me. I can't remember lines. I can't hit my marks. I am gaining weight because I can't stop eating, and I am exhausted all the time, and I hate myself. Judy, they are going to fire me again. I know they are, and this time I won't come back. Jean knelt in front of her. Listen to me. We are going to finish this film. I don't care if it takes 6 months. I don't care if I have to hold you up for every single take. We are going to finish it. How? However, we have to. Summer Stock took 135 days to shoot. Judy Garland was present for 36 of them. On the days she could work, Jean and director Charles Walters literally held her up. Walters would later say, Jean took her left arm, and I took her right one, and between us, we tried to keep her on her feet. There were times when we had to nail the scenery down so she wouldn't fall over. On the days Judy couldn't work, Jean covered for her. One day, when Judy hadn't shown up for the 6th day in a row, Jean made a decision. He walked to the middle of the barn set and stumbled, grabbed his ankle, went down hard. Jean, Walters rushed over. My ankle. Jean grimaced. I think I twisted it. The set medic examined him. Jean sold it perfectly. You need to rest this, the medic said. Give me a day. Jean said. We will shoot tomorrow. Walters understood immediately. He called Rap for the day. Jean drove to Judy's house. She answered the door in her nightgown at 2 in the afternoon. Jean, why aren't you at the studio? I hurt my ankle. Needed the day off. Judy stared at him. Then understanding dawned. You didn't hurt anything. Jean didn't deny it. You can't keep doing this, Judy said, tears streaming. I am destroying your film. You are not destroying anything. You are sick, and you need rest. Tomorrow, when you feel stronger, you come back. And if I don't, then I will do it again. They were supposed to film Heavenly Music, a trio with Jean, Judy, and comedian Phil Silvers. Judy didn't show up. Jean and Silvers filmed it as a duet. No one mentioned the missing third person. Judy's weight fluctuated wildly. You can see it in the movie. Some scenes she is heavier, others dramatically thinner. The costume department kept adjusting through it all. Jean stayed patient. You are doing great, he would tell her after a difficult take. It usually wasn't, but Jean understood Judy didn't need criticism. She needed someone to believe in her. Then, one morning in late January, Judy showed up on time. Jean was rehearsing his newspaper dance when he heard the door open. He turned. Judy Garland walked onto the set. Hair done, makeup on, standing straight. The entire crew went silent. Morning, Judy said. Her voice was steady. Are we shooting the barn scene today? Jean stared at her. Judy, I am ready to work. Walters approached cautiously. Are you sure? We can wait if... I am sure. Judy looked at Jean. Let's do this. They filmed for 6 hours straight. Judy hit every mark, remembered every line, sang Friendly Star in one take, her voice clear and pure. When Walters called cut on the final shot, the crew applauded. Judy smiled. The first real smile Jean had seen in months. After wrap, Jean found her in her dressing room. You did it, he said. I did. Didn't I? Judy looked at him with something like pride. Thank you for not giving up on me. Jean hugged her. Never. But as he held her, he felt how thin she had become, how fragile, and he knew, even in this moment of triumph, that this wasn't over. This was just a good day in a sea of bad ones. In February 1950, principal photography wrapped. But the studio wasn't happy with the ending. The film needs a showstopper, producer Pasternak said. They called Judy back in March. 6 months after they had started, she had lost 20 pounds. The costume department dressed her in a black tuxedo jacket, tights, and a fedora. The number was Get Happy. Judy performed it in one take, standing in a spotlight, surrounded by male dancers. She sang about getting happy while looking utterly sad. It became one of the most iconic performances of her career. It was also the last thing she ever filmed for MGM. After summer stock wrapped, MGM cast Judy in Royal Wedding opposite Fred Astaire. She showed up late, missed days, couldn't perform. MGM fired her. Her 15-year contract was terminated by mutual agreement. Louis B. Mayer later called it one of his biggest regrets. Gene Kelly and Judy Garland never made another film together. But Gene never forgot what he owed her. In interviews for the rest of his life, whenever someone asked about his career, he would mention one name, Judy Garland. She saved me in my first film, he would say. She believed in me when no one else did. And when people asked about summer stock, Gene would say simply, Judy gave me her best. I tried to give her mine. He never mentioned faking an injury. Never mentioned holding her up so she wouldn't fall. Never mentioned the days he would sit with her while she cried. Because that is what you do for the people who saved you. You save them back. Even when you know you can't. Judy Garland died on June 22, 1969. She was 47 years old. The coroner ruled it an accidental overdose of barbiturates, the same pills MGM had given her as a teenager. Gene Kelly was 56. He attended her funeral. People who knew him said he wept. Years later, a journalist asked Gene Kelly about Summer Stock. That was a difficult film, wasn't it? Gene was quiet for a long moment. It was the most important film I ever made, he said finally. Why? Because Judy needed me. And 8 years earlier, she had been there when I needed her. That is what friendship is. You show up for people even when it is hard, especially when it is hard. Do you think you helped her? Gene's expression changed. Something sad moved across his face. I tried, he said quietly. The last time Gene Kelly saw Judy Garland was in 1968. She was in Los Angeles, between concerts. They met for lunch at the MGM commissary. Judy looked worn. She had been married 5 times. But when she saw Gene, she smiled. The real smile. Gene Kelly, she said. still the most handsome dancer in Hollywood. Judy Garland, still the greatest performer I have ever known. At the end of lunch, Judy hugged him. "Thank you," she whispered, "for summer stock, for staying, for not giving up on me." "Never." Gene said, "I would never give up on you." 1 year later, she was dead. Summer Stock was released in August 1950. Critics praised Judy's performance. Audiences loved the film. Get Happy became legendary. No one watching knew what it had cost. No one saw Gene faking injuries. No one saw Walters and Gene holding Judy upright between takes. No one saw the 99 days she couldn't work. They just saw the magic, two friends dancing in a barn, singing about getting happy, making it look effortless. That is what movies do. They hide the pain and show you the dream. But Gene Kelly never forgot the reality. Every time he watched Summer Stock, he saw a different film, not a cheerful musical, a documentary of a drowning, and he saw himself, holding out his hand, trying desperately to pull his friend back to shore, knowing, even then, that she was already gone.